Welcome back. It's another episode of If I Die Tomorrow, the podcast where we face our own mortality to live a better life today. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm your host, Nicole, and today we're talking about an emotion that makes us feel a little bit like a cartoon character that's a villain and has a thundercloud over their head. I'm referring to jealousy. Yeah, the gut punch you get when you see someone else's success. That pang of envy when your friend gets the promotion, or the silent resentment when it seems that your sibling has it all together. We're told jealousy is a negative, it's a character flaw, and it's something to be ashamed of. But we all feel it. We've all been there. We've all seen it. I'm going to tell you, I really try not to. We've discussed God and angels and faith, and we know that there is no room in faith for jealousy. But it will happen because, after all, we are human. But what if there is another way to look at jealousy as not a bad thing or a flaw in us? What if we looked at it as a secret map for our heart's biggest desires? Some of the stuff that we just don't say out loud. What if we understood its purpose and learned how to harness the power of jealousy for good? Yes, I think it's possible. We all don't like it, but anything is possible. So let's get the ugly stuff out of the way. At its worst, jealousy is a corrosive force. It eats away at our relationships. It can turn us bitter, resentful, and the worst version of ourselves. It also can make us not anybody that someone would like to be around. Life can already be lonely enough. We close ourselves off a lot. We don't need to add to it. We've all been there, subtly learning or tearing someone else down just to make ourselves feel better. We've done gossiping or holding grudges. It's a big one. It's a miserable way to live. Constantly looking over our shoulders at someone else's journey and convincing ourselves we're falling behind. And we've had a discussion about that. The float, as you remember, the wonderful canoeing trip, and the log jams. If you don't remember that, please go back into season 1, where you will find the episode called The Float. But if we choose to take jealousy and turn it into a positive, it will be a life where our happiness isn't dependent on someone else's failures. And that, my friends, can make it a happy existence, because if we're always so busy tearing other people down to make ourselves feel better, that is no existence. That is not a life. How can you ever feel happy? And don't you deserve happiness? I know you do. We all do. I'm going to tell you, I believe that the negative form of jealousy is so deeply rooted in our own insecurity. And again, we don't want to admit that we're insecure about anything, but we are. That is why vulnerability is a superpower. But it's not about what the other person has. It's about what we believe we lack. It's the voice in our head that says, I'm not good enough. And because they're successful, it just proves that I'm not good enough. And you know what? I'm tired of lying to myself. We lie to ourselves so much anyway. I'm not willing to add one more. And I hope you're not either. I'm going to tell you that there is a bright side to the green-eyed monster. As much as you don't think there is, I'm going to try and tell you that there is. And I hope that you are open-minded enough to hear what I'm saying for the sake of actually listening to hear it. Because figuring part of this out was like a slap in the face to me, because it almost seemed too simple, and how did I miss it? Reminding me that I am human, and every day I should learn something new, and this was one of those days. If we looked at jealousy in another way, instead of being a sign of our lack, it was a signal of something we desire. Think about it. When you feel a pang of jealousy, it's not random. It's triggered by something specific. Maybe you're jealous of your colleague's confidence, your friend's creative freedom, or your neighbor's perfect, thriving garden. Seriously, I I understand that one. I love to garden, but the last few years I have not put all of my heart and soul into it, and you can tell. And this year was really bad. I actually just planted some in pots, and they did not do very well. So next year I will do better. I'm not going to be jealous of my neighbors. I'm actually very grateful that they have the thriving garden that they do, because it opens up the opportunity to share. And when you share, how do you not feel good? Anyway, if we examine those feelings, what are they telling you? They're highlighting a desire you might not have even consciously articulated to yourself. That jealousy over your colleague's confidence, that's not just, I wish they weren't so good at it. It's, I wish I were good at that. It's a clue that deep down you have a desire for more confidence and possibly influence. When we reframe jealousy this way, it goes from being a negative judgment, not just on the other people, but on ourselves, to a positive source of information. And we all know information is power. It becomes a compass pointing us in the direction for our own growth. Instead of tearing someone down, we can ask ourselves, what is this feeling teaching me about what I want, or what I think I need to feel happy or content or fulfilled? It also makes us ask the question about, what do I truly want? I saw something and I put it out there on social media that said, if I asked you what you loved, or name the things that you love, how long would it take before you said yourself? And I'm hoping through this that it wouldn't be at the very end, or that it wouldn't be listed, that you yourself wouldn't be listed at all. How can we make this shift from the negative connotations of jealousy to the positive? We can turn that sour feeling into a catalyst for a better life. A life we'd be proud to live if we knew it were our last. We can practice self-awareness. When you feel that similar pang of jealousy, don't ignore it. Pause, get curious, and ask yourself, what am I jealous of specifically? And this is where you also need to be brutally honest. And sometimes that sucks and it's hard, but you need to do it. And once you do it, it's a lot easier every time you are brutally honest with yourself. And I wish that for you, to be able to reflect upon yourself and your life and understand where some of the feelings actually come from and resonate in your life to be better, to live a life with more purpose. Once you get curious and you ask yourself and you're honest with yourself and you've identified it, ask, what does this tell me about my own desires? What is the unmet need in my own life that makes me feel like this when I see this or that? And this is actually a very crucial step. It's the difference between feeling bad about someone else's life and getting valuable intel about your own. So now you've done 2 very hard steps. Next step, not so hard. And it's almost like a step of faith. Once you know what it is and it tells you what you want in your life, you can create a plan to get it. Why do you need to be jealous? You know what it is. It was just finally brought to your attention in a way that you wished it wouldn't have been, but it is. So, you're jealous over confidence? Sign up for a public speaking class. The envy over creative freedom? Set aside an hour once a week to try writing or painting or drawing. We spend more than that doom scrolling. I'm guilty of it just as much as everybody else is. But I also know that when you make things a priority, you make it happen. We all do. And then that green-eyed monster, once you do these, doesn't seem so big and scary anymore. Oh, and for the ones with the garden, you do have a green thumb. It may be hidden, but you have one. So start with just a small pot of an herb on your windowsill. You can do it. The point isn't to become your neighbor or your colleague. The point is to take the wisdom from that feeling that you got and use it to build a life that feels authentic and fulfilling for you. We're all going to feel jealous at some point. It's natural and it's human. Last I checked them, we were all humans. The question isn't how to never feel jealousy, but how to handle it when it actually comes. If I die tomorrow, I don't want to spend today comparing my life to somebody else. I want to be so busy building my own beautiful life that I have nothing but admiration for the good work of everyone else around me. whether it's gardens or painting or decorating or singing or speaking in a group. I can now look at them with admiration and not jealousy. And it is a reminder to me of all the things that are possible in this life. And I don't need to measure myself next to somebody else. Jealousy can be a mirror reflecting not our flaws, but our potential. It can be a guide showing us the path to a life we truly desire. I say we start using it that way. What do you think? I'd like to thank you for listening to If I Die Tomorrow. I'll be back next week. Another riveting podcast answering some more difficult questions and walking through this life with a greater sense of happiness. Don't just live today. Live on purpose for today. And again, if you don't be afraid to like this, hit subscribe, share. Appreciate it. Appreciate your comments and your interactions as well. And as always, be kind, be grateful, stay humble.